So, Julian, you were one of 100 people invited to Bletchley Park last week for the AI Safety Summit. How was it and what were your key reflections?
It was actually brilliant, Catherine. It really was very good. And there were a number of things that people were a little concerned about. First of all, was this really going to be global? And it was straight away. Even the first panel session had Gina Raimondo, the Commerce Secretary of the US, alongside the Chinese Information Technology and Innovation Minister. And there were 8 nationalities represented on the first 2 panels. So that was a great start.
Brilliant. Excellent. And what did you hope to see come out of the AI Safety Summit, and were your outcomes achieved?
So when we went into it, alongside the thing, is it really global? We also want to know, well, is it a one-off, just a sort of promotional event, everybody gets together and then goes away and forgets about it? So that, again, was great to hear, that they actually got the next 2 summits already lined up, one in Korea, so that's really good to get right across the globe, and then back to Europe, to France. Within the EU, that's another major place that's got an important part to play. So that was very good. The next thing was that, who was there? And obviously, with 100 people, there's quite a narrow selection. A lot of people were thinking, is it just going to be the tech bros and the big companies? Obviously, the fact we were there as techUK means there's 1,000 companies in the discussion, as well as those, although some of those are already members anyway. But the other thing that was very interesting is there were more non-tech people there, more people from civil society, from academia, science, research, really making up a really broad conversation, and very international. UNESCO was there, OECD were there, EU was there, ITU was there, very big discussion.
And from your perspective, what are some of the most important opportunities for AI, both now and in the future?
Well, where'd you start? But I guess you'd start particularly with climate change, the biggest challenge facing the world, facing all of us. And AI can play such a key role here, because it is all about getting data, analysing that data, and then coming up with solutions and managing to deploy them. And AI helps with all of that. Next, you've got to go to healthcare. The opportunity in bioscience, which we're already looking at in techUK, is just fantastic. So many things that we can do here. And it's already started. What DeepMind have done with AlphaFold is just one of the many things that are happening. Lots of new announcements around healthcare, diagnostics. The machine doesn't get tired. And it does illustrate as well the role of AI in this, which is it's going to be doing that diagnostics. So the human people that need to work alongside AI all the time, in our opinion, will then get on to, okay, you flagged this thing, this looks like an issue. What are we going to do about it now? And that's going to be really interesting.
Yeah, a tremendous number of benefits. And I think we're only on the cusp, only on the horizon of seeing what potential that technology holds. But of course, alongside the opportunities, there are, of course, the challenges. Do you think the summit struck the right balance between some of the long-term existential risks versus the short-term, more immediate challenges?
Well, that was one of the debates, one of the discussions. And that was something that we at techUK have been saying. Yes, there are these big picture frontier risks, some people call them existential risks, and they need to be managed. But actually, as well as the long term, there's medium term risks and there's immediate risks. Immediate risks are already here. The profusion of fake news, fake people, fake IDs, fake everything, that needs to be addressed. That was brought up particularly by Meta, actually. And then you go to the medium term risks, which is obviously change the work patterns. How do you avoid this becoming another digital divide? So what's the role of AI in education? And again, there's some great opportunity there. The personal tutor in your pocket or in your headphones or whatever can be available to everybody, not just people who can actually afford it or countries that have that set up. This could be done everywhere.
What role does the UK play in the ethical and safe development of AI?
So look, we do have a really strong role here. And I would credit techUK, you and your colleagues, with the fact that we started on looking at ethics in general in technology, but particularly in AI. And it actually was prompted by the Cambridge Analytica activity, remember that, which led us 7 years ago to say we must have real focus on this. And we put together our first Digital Ethics Summit. The 7th one, by the way, is in December this year, December the 6th. And we have now evolved that. And from those first discussions came the UK's Centre for Digital Ethics and Innovation, which has actually been pioneering this. So the UK's got a lot to offer here. Plus, we are, of course, a powerhouse of AI. The investment that's coming in here, we're number 3 in the world after the US and China, and pretty close to them. So we do have a lot of credibility here.
And then finally, Julian, building on the momentum of the AI Safety Summit, what are the key next steps needed to ensure this technology is adopted and deployed both responsibly but also ethically?
So look, at the international level, they need to keep that dialogue going. There needs to be a federation of regulators working on these big issues. At the national level, we're very keen to work on the basis that was set there in the AI white paper, which you, Catherine, I know were very involved in discussions and helping to sort of prioritize the issues in there. Things like transparency, things like accountability, things like redress, things like the human interaction all the time, a number of those areas. So that needs to be done. But then the most important thing following on from that is let's look at the impact of this stuff, where it lands, focus on outcomes, and look at it sector by sector, which was what the white paper in the UK proposed. Why? Because nobody really knows exactly how this technology is going to land. Some of the proponents of it say they don't actually know exactly how it works, because it's not a linear program. It works around lots of data, interacts with itself. So you've got to see what does it do then when it's deployed. And that, I think, is where we need to go next. And we must particularly make sure we get the societal and economic benefits. This is great stuff, can grow our economy, can really help with levelling up, to coin a phrase, with helping everybody participate. But it's going to be a big transformation. 40 or 50% of the workforce is going to have new skills, new ways of doing things. Society is going to change, cities are going to change, countries are going to change. So there's a lot to do.
A lot to do, but I think a clear mandate for the way forward. So thank you, Julian.